Let's talk about Teslas. The refreshes to the Model S and X are going to be interior, exterior, and powertrain changes. Long range is going to now be your base model and no more performance. That's replaced by Plaid and Plaid Plus. Long range is going to have 2 motors, Plaid models are going to have 3 motors. The Model S is going to be available in base, Plaid, and Plaid Plus variants, whereas the Model X is only going to be available in base and Plaid variants. Long range Model X is going to be available for $85,000 with an estimated range of 360 miles an hour, 155 mile an hour top speed, and a 0 to 60 of 3.8 seconds. That's pretty quick for an SUV. You can get the Plaid version of that for $115,000, sacrificing some range again for 340 miles of an estimated range, 163 mile top speed with a 2.5 0 to 60 time. Your base long-range Model S is going to be about $75,000, 412 miles of estimated range, 155 mile top speed with a 3.1 second 0 to 60. Pretty impressive for a 4-door family sedan. For $115,000, you can get the Plaid version, which brings down your range a little bit to 390 miles with a 200 mile top speed and a 1.99 0 to 60 second time. But wait, there's more. For about 1.5 times the price of the base model, at $135,000, you can get the Plaid Plus. That gives 520 plus miles of range, 200 mile per hour top speed, and a 0 to 60 time of less than 1.99 seconds. And they threw in a sub 9 second quarter mile time just for kicks. Now let's talk about the 520 mile plus range there. No current Tesla battery even gets close to that. The only thing that I've seen that gets close to that is the Roadster, and that's not even in production yet. And I think the Roadster gets somewhere 600 plus miles of range. So this is all theoretical until it actually happens. We'll see what the actual range numbers are when it comes to production, which according to the website, it looks like it's late 2021. So that's a Tesla timeline, so take that with a grain of salt. Considering the bump in range is so large between the Model S current version and then the Plaid versions coming out later in the year, it's safe to assume that they're probably going to use their newer battery technology or a bigger battery or something to give them that boost in range there. That late 2021 timeline also coincides with when they're thinking about starting up the Cybertruck, which also has a lot of range, so it would make sense that they share the same sort of long-range battery technology. Exterior design refreshes are going to be a lot more minimal. The lower front fascia of both the S and the X have been redesigned to look a lot more like the 3 and the Y. Now their entire lineup of cars has a lot more similar and uniform look to them. A majority of the changes are going to happen to the interior. Now it looks like for both the S and the X we're getting back the ventilated seats that are heated and cooled, and the Plaid and Plaid Plus look like they only offer carbon fiber accents on the interior. To get the wood accents, you'd have to stick with the base model. Model S and Model X will retain the driver information system in the dash, but now the center console screen is going to be mounted landscape and in the dash, much more like the Model 3 and the Model Y. That should make it a lot easier for their UIs to be a lot more consistent now that they don't have a different shape to design for. Passengers in the back will also get a smaller 8-inch screen at the back of the center console, where they'll have access to climate controls and the infotainment system as well. And it looks like the center armrest in the back might have space for phone holders. Still unsure about whether the armrest in the back has any wireless charging for the phones there. Passengers are also going to experience premium audio through 22 speakers with 960 watts of power and active noise canceling. Nice. While other manufacturers like Mercedes or Rolls-Royce or Bentley might solve that interior cabin noise problem with better materials, better seals, things like that. That's not really in Tesla's wheelhouse. That's not so much what they do. They haven't matured that part of their organization yet, although their stuff is very good. They're more in the tech, hardware, and software. So they're going to solve this problem more with tech, hardware, and software, which completely makes sense. They're going to play to their strengths. Probably what they're going to do is, much like your noise-canceling headphones is going to have microphones on the outside of the car, and then they're going to pump anti-noise into the interior to sort of cancel out what's going on outside. Nice. If you've ever been inside a Tesla, you might realize that the interior is already pretty quiet. It might even sound louder relative to normal cars because, one, you don't have the drone-emit engine to sort of make sound anymore, so you end up hearing a lot of the exterior noise that you might have missed before. But now the active noise cancellation is probably going to make it even nicer and even quieter in there. Is it time to talk about it? Yeah, we should probably talk about it. The steering wheel. Ah! You're going to love it or you're going to hate it. So it's called a yoke steering wheel, and it's meant to be modeled after something that you would see on like a fighter plane. It's not a fighter plane. Or like an F1 car. It's not an F1 car. We're not really talking about apples to apples. That's an orange. Also of note is that there are no stalks on there anymore. So how are you gonna change your gears? How are you gonna make left and right turns? Now some of that they've solved by adding buttons onto the steering wheel, which you can see. Now, I am not that big a fan of soft buttons. There's not a lot of good feedback. You never really know if you've touched them correctly. Nice. Some of these key critical controls need feedback, so you don't actually have to look at it to confirm. A nice little click on a stalk is enough confirmation to let you know that you've signaled the lane change. Obviously there's audio of like clicking and things like that, but if you're changing gears, you need to know that you're 100% changing gears. How are you going to do that in these versions? So they say that the car is going to choose the best gear for you. No, I don't think so. Imagine, hypothetically speaking, your car is at the edge of a cliff. Would you rather 100% know that you are putting that car into reverse and getting the F out of there? Or are you gonna take a chance and let the car decide, maybe it's in reverse? Do you really want that chance, no matter how small it is? If that chance isn't zero, that's not a good idea. Which brings up another question. Is that even legal? Now this is all pre-production stuff. None of these vehicles exist yet. Just because it's up on their website doesn't mean that it's been delivered to anybody yet. And if you've been with Tesla any amount of time, you know that anything can change at any moment. According to the website, it looks like the soonest that you can get a Plaid version is in March of this year. But it doesn't look like the steering wheel is an optional steering wheel. Elon, you crazy. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for Tesla news today. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that yoke steering wheel. Is a Plaid model in your future? Thank you for watching, guys. Drop a like and a sub if you're enjoying the content. Until next time, geek out.